Man, about time. Good trout, good eating trout. We're fishing under a real high pressure today. We had a front a couple of days ago, and anytime you get a front, it makes high pressure. High pressure is probably one of the worst things you can do when you're fishing. Whenever you're fishing, and especially if fishing a high pressure, you want to kind of like finesse it. Finesse means go to a real small line, a real small lure, fish real slow, a quiet bait. A bait that doesn't have a rattle is probably a better bait that does have a rattle under a high pressure. So this bait has no noise to it whatsoever. It's a real subtle color. It's just a good lure to fish on a day like today. High pressure. Texas fishing tips. All right, might be a redfish. The way fiddle fart knocks. Oh, it's a good ass trout. Oh, a big trout too. Biggest one we've caught. Cool. Look at this right here. We'll get a good shot of that right there.
Nice.
Dandy. You ready? Cool. Just when you thought you were done, you go to the shallowest spot we've been all day and you catch trout like that. That's a dandy trout. Good fish. Not bad. Turn around, baby. "20 feet from the last trout. It's getting better now, huh? 3 casts later. Fishing a riptide. Great lure, great color for today. Looks like a shrimp. Fish number 4 off this one side of the reef. We completely circled this reef. Got no other strikes except in this one spot. And I guess because the current's blowing across the reef and the fish are staging on this side, catching the bait fish coming off the reef because the wind is coming like this. And just on this one side of the reef is the only place we're finding fish. That's a smaller fish, nothing like what we've been catching, but it's still a fish. Okay, we fished Nueces Bay, had a cold front a couple of days ago, and I guess the high pressure's kind of slowed them down. And like I said earlier, it's kind of a finesse kind of day. On a day like today when you've had high pressure, you're probably not going to catch a whole lot of fish. You're going to have to downsize your line, you're going to have to downsize your lure, you're going to actually downsize your presentation. You're going to give a presentation that's real slow, real subtle, nothing fast, no rattle. That kind of stuff. That's what you're gonna have to do on a day like today. But the biggest thing is this thing right here. This is a Minn Kota trolling motor. I've been fishing a remote control Minn Kota trolling motor for about 10 years. I had some of the very first ones to ever come out. Anybody that buys a trolling motor nowadays and doesn't buy this trolling motor is making a mistake. I can actually take, this is what runs the whole trolling motor right here. There is one button out there, I'll tell you about that in a second. But this makes it go left, makes it go right, makes it go slow, makes it go fast, whatever. There's a button on top. If I want to push it to this red house right here, I can push this button right here on top and set a course for that red house. And this trolling motor will take over. It has an internal compass in it. And it will actually, you can see it moving right now by itself. I'm not touching the reel or I'm touching the rod mount or nothing. And it's headed straight for that red house. They're probably about $1,000, something like that. A regular hand-controlled trolling motor is $700-800. This is the very best trolling motor a guy can buy nowadays. They are so popular now that a guy can, there's casting platforms on boats and stuff. You can stand back there on that casting platform and run this trolling motor totally by this little remote right here. Left, right, off, on, slow, fast, whatever, and never get down here on the boat except to land a fish. You can also take this trolling motor. If you're a big wade fisherman, you can get out and wade a shoreline. You can stay close to your boat, so this signal is picked up by this remote, and you can actually have your trolling motor follow you. I know guys that will wait a mile, turn around, get back on the shore, and walk a mile back to their boat because, you know, they left it at that spot anchored. This trolling motor does it for you. You can wade along, you can stop it, start it, left, right. As soon as you're done waiting, you turn around, look, and your trolling motor's right behind you. You cannot believe how efficient this trolling motor is. There is no doubt if you're gonna spend $1,000 for a trolling motor, you need to buy a Minn Kota Riptide. Not a Motor Guide, none of the other ones. This is the very best trolling motor made. Handheld and all compared. There's nothing better than a Minn Kota remote control trolling motor. This is Texas Fishing Tips.